Our man John Solomon, a real reporter on the Hill newspaper. Lisa Page, Peter Strzok. First of all, I'm sick of these two morons. The reported FBI lovebirds are the poster children for the next Don't Text and Investigate public service ads airing soon at an FBI office near you. Their extraordinary texting affair on their government phones has given the FBI a black eye, laying bare a raw political bias brought into the workplace that agents are supposed to check at the door when they strap on their guns and badges. It's no longer in dispute that they held animus for Donald Trump, who was a subject of their Russia probe, or that they openly discuss using the powers of their office to stop Trump from becoming president. The only question is whether any official acts they took in the Russia collusion probe were driven by those sentiments. The Justice Department's Inspector General is endeavoring to answer that question. For any American who wants an answer sooner, there are just 5 words among the thousands of suggestive texts that Page and Strzok exchanged that you should need. The passage was transmitted on May 19, 2017. By my calculations, that's a little over a year ago. You want to hear what they said? Quote, "There's no big there." Wait a minute. Strzok texted that to Page? Yes, he did. Quote, "There's no big there." Now, the date of the text long has intrigued investigators. It is 2 days after Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein named Special Counsel Robert Mueller to oversee an investigation into alleged collusion between Trump and the Russian campaign. Since the text was turned over to Congress, investigators wonder whether it referred to the evidence against the Trump campaign. This month, they finally got the chance to ask. Strzok declined to say. But Page, during a closed-door interview with lawmakers, confirmed in the most pained and contorted way that the message, in fact, referring to the quality of the Russia case, according to multiple eyewitnesses, there's no there. The admission is deeply consequential. It means Rosenstein unleashed the most awesome powers of a special counsel to investigate an allegation that the key FBI officials driving the investigation for 10 months beforehand did not think was there. But don't worry, Trey Gowdy will defend Mueller. Trey Gowdy's a fraud and a frake and a fraud. Now, by the time of the text and Mueller's appointment, the FBI's best counterintelligence agents had plenty of time to dig. They knowingly used a dossier funded by Hillary's campaign, which contained uncorroborated allegations, to persuade the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA court, to issue a warrant to monitor Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. They sat on Carter Page's phones and emails for nearly 6 months without getting evidence that would warrant prosecuting him. The evidence they had gathered was deemed so weak that their boss, then FBI Director James Comey, was forced to admit to Congress, after being fired by Trump, that the core allegation remained substantially uncorroborated. In other words, they had a big nothing burger, and based on the empty calorie dish, Rosenstein authorized the buffet menu of a special prosecutor that has cost America millions of dollars and months of political strife. But don't worry. Trey Gowdy says Mueller's doing a fantastic job. Now, the work product Strzok created to justify the collusion probe now has been shown to be inferior. A Clinton-hired contractor produced multiple documents accusing Trump of wrongdoing during the election. Each was routed to the FBI through a different source, or was used to send news articles with similar allegations that further build an uncorroborated public narrative of Trump-Russia collusion. Most troubling, the FBI relied on at least one of those news stories to justify the FISA warrant against Carter Page. Interesting. That sort of multifaceted allegation machine, which can be traced back to a single source, is known in spycraft as circular intelligence reporting. It's the sort of bad product that professional spooks are trained to spot and reject. But Team Strzok kept pushing it through the system, causing a major escalation of a probe for which, by his own words, he knew had no big there. Strzok, the same man who went back to interview Lieutenant General Mike Flynn and set him up. The answer as to why a pro such as Strzok would take such action has become clear, at least to congressional investigators. That clarity comes from the context of the other emails and text messages that surrounded the May 1927 declaration. Turns out that what Stroke and Lisa Page were really doing that day was debating whether they should stay with the FBI and try to rise through the ranks to the level of an assistant director or join Mueller's special counsel team. Who gives an F? One more AD like Redacted or whoever, Stroke wrote, weighing the merits of promotion before apparently suggesting that what would be a more attractive role, quote, an investigation leading to impeachment, unquote. Lisa Page apparently realized the conversation had gone too far and tried to reel it in. Quote, we should stop having this conversation here, she texted back, adding later it was important to examine the different realistic outcomes of the case. And it goes on. One of the things, as a side note or footnote, if you will, that takes place here is, obviously this show is 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern, 3 to 6 p.m. Pacific. The first monologue, the second monologue that I do, the issues that I attack and discuss with you. Mr. Producer and I have noticed wind up on TV, don't they, Mr. Producer? So now they're doing a thorough look into Mr. Brennan. Coincidence? I think not. Just make sure you listen here. We don't plagiarize anybody. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Some of the people who appear on TV and radio, when the left points to them and says, the Russians interfered in our election, why won't Trump say so? The answer should be, no, they did interfere and Trump has said so, but what did Obama do about it? That should be the retort every single time, everywhere. What did Obama do about it? No, I want to talk about Trump. No. Obama was the commander-in-chief. He had the responsibility to protect us from the Russians. What did he do about it? Everybody should say that. Everybody. But they won't. They won't.